Today, I saw a post, a tweet by Caleb Maupin. And this tweet by Caleb Maupin, it says, after spending years claiming that Dems want to install a communist, socialist, Marxist regime in the US, Rick Wiles, I think this is that guy right here, now says he may run for president in 2024 on a platform dedicated to seizing the wealth of billionaires and redistributing it to the poor. So, And Caleb Maupin retweeted that with the words, "This kind of confusion is the result of decades and decades of leftists ignoring the ideological struggle and focusing on culture wars." So when Caleb says culture wars, what he means, at least I think so, what he means is identity politics, because I think Caleb is against identity politics and ideological struggle is practically the class issue. Like, I think this is some class reductionism going on here, and he's again criticizing the left, So he has some shots against the left in the last few months, years, I don't know. You know how he wrote that he destroyed BreadTube?
Borger King.
And he's attacking the left all the time, talking about how the left is actually like fucked up because they concentrate on the identity politics and they don't give a fuck about the class warfare or something like that, So, and then he writes, "It reinforces my entire point that we need to engage with right-wing Americans, not cancel or hate them." What do you mean by engaging? That's the first point that I thought to myself, like, what do you mean by engaging, my friend? Engaging can be so much. It can be working with right-wingers, which I wouldn't want to do, I can pull them on our side. That would be nice if all the right-wingers would become leftists. Yeah, I would like that, okay, obviously. But to engage with them, that can mean a lot of stuff. So, if you look at other Caleb tweets, if you look what Caleb also said, so we can extrapolate and know what he means by engaging. In another post, like after that, he says, "It's clear that Marxism does not oppose wealth. It opposes exploitation and profits. The goal of Marxism, I think, is a society with vast material abundance, vast expansions of wealth, laying the basis for the eradication of inequality and the state. This is why I oppose abolish billionaires slogan." The abolish billionaires slogan. So, whatever. The point is, this guy here is advocating for seizing the wealth of billionaires and redistributing it, and he says like, yeah, that's a great thing, but then he writes after that, he's writing like, "I oppose abolishing billionaires because, all I want is to eradicate inequality, and the state." But the point is, eradicate the inequality. So, Caleb, dear sunshine, how the fuck do you want to eradicate inequality if you do not abolish billionaires? Because these billionaires have become billionaires by producing inequality, by exploiting the workers, So if you were going if you want to have some more equality, it's not enough. And that's also the issue with the other thing, with this guy here. I listened to him, And you know what he said? He said like, "I would take all the money from Zuckerberg. I would take the money from all the billionaires and I would give it to the poor. And I'm running for president and with that claim, I want to give the money to the poor." But that doesn't solve anything. You give the money to the poor, it will be extracted by the wealthy again, It's just surplus, stuff like that, Marxism, blah, blah, So if you just take the money away from them and give it to the poor people, nothing will happen. The money will go back to the wealthy and to the rich. That's the point, And so I don't understand when Caleb Maupin says like, "Oh, abolish billionaires." Why? Yeah. Marxism does not oppose wealth. Yeah, of course, it does not directly oppose wealth, like take everything away from the billionaires, but take away the extraction of wealth, you know, from the poor people that goes up to the the reallocation of wealth. When it goes up to the rich people, if you abolish that, you know, you will abolish billionaires automatically, because where do the billions come from if they do not exploit the workers? You know, if you're such a Marxist, then you know how wealth is created, how value is created. I mean, I don't need to talk about that. You know all of that. So that's very interesting. So like, I almost feel like he's advocating for billionaires here. Here he's advocating for the right-wing Americans somehow. And then I found this tweet, Caleb Maupin retweeted, yeah, an article from RT, which is the place where he works, you know, Russia state-affiliated media. More people than ever are flying the rainbow flag in the US. And I thought, without a comment, you see, there's no comment. He has a comment on everything that he reposts. Like, okay, by RT he has no comments. Okay. So RT, he is not allowed to say anything about RT because they pay him. So the interesting thing is, it could look positive if I wouldn't know anything about Caleb Maupin. So I went there to read the article on RT, you know. I'm very interested how RT is treating this thing, because I don't think that RT is in favor of LGBTQ community, but let's see, you know. So I started to read it, and I must say I didn't see anything that's against trans people or LGBTQ movement. So everything was pretty okay. They just stated the facts, okay, one could say. But the point is, when you scroll down to the comments, oh my God, it's crazy, you know? Young people have a long history of claiming to participate in whatever is in vogue at the time. Like, this is not an identity issue, this is just a, you know, it's in vogue. Then the next one, that, and one wonders what the effects of all those man-made released chemicals, even more so since the turn of the 20th century, in the water and air might be producing. So like chemicals in the water turn people gay, you know? And the next one, you know, this is a product of this crony society, a fraudulent election, post-January 6th government crackdown, and the GameStop fiasco all revealed the truth of passive zombie-like citizenry. You know, instead, Western men must physically train, leave the cities, build communities, have children, homeschool, blah, 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 blah. The nationalist lifestyle is the only way to rebel, you know? Embracing the way of Western ancestors, reject all forms of degeneracy. You know, this is some crazy. My God, 1 in 6, that's almost 18%. The Jews have finally recreated Sodom and Gomorrah in US, a place where hedonism and nihilism are valued above anything else. Germany in the 20s all over again. So this is crazy. Like, this is so fucking right-wing. This is so fucking right-wing. Okay? So even if they didn't write anything in this article which says that they are in any way like, you know, on one side or another side, at least even I didn't find anything. But the comments just show who's hanging out at the RT commentary section, you know, who these people are writing for. So Caleb T. Maupin works for these, what's the T stand for? Terminator. Caleb Terminator Maupin, yeah? This guy is working for RT, you know? And if he's working for RT, and RT is a conservative, right-wing serving media outlet, why would they engage him? Why would they have him there to work for them? You know, if you have a Russian state-affiliated media, they are not really going to be in favor of US politics. Not that I'm in favor of US politics. Please don't misunderstand me there, okay? I just say that there is a agenda behind all of this. Let's say it like that, you know? So he also posted stuff that he's very happy and he attacked Wash and stuff like that. Like, oh, well, do you see now China is not genocidal, everything is fine, you know, like that China is still a fucked up state, authoritarian fucked up state that imprisons people and does some very, very evil shit. that's everything okay, since people said, yeah, well, it's not exactly genocide, close to it, but, then everything is fine for Caleb Maupin, and that's what I don't like. So when Caleb Maupin says that we should talk with the right-wingers, yeah, dude, nobody is going to every leftist will say, like, that's exactly why I don't talk to right-wingers, okay? But so it's not so it's the idea, and that's what I hate. The idea to talk to right-wingers is there. There are some very big cautions you have to take. You have to be very cautious if you want to talk to right-wingers. Like I said, I want to talk about that. But the problem is when people like Caleb Maupin, if someone like him, if someone like him posted stuff like that, then this is crazy. You are immediately opposed, and this is very bad. This is very bad, So if you want to know more about Caleb Maupin, I don't want to talk about Caleb Maupin anymore. If you want to know more about Caleb Maupin and why he probably himself is a right-winger, please go to Toad Slime's channel, listen to what Toad Slime had to say about all of this, okay? Listen to that, and he explains it very well, what's wrong with Caleb Maupin. Also, listen to the discussion he had with Wosh. Wosh also, I don't think that Wosh could have done it better, but who am I to criticize? Wosh could have done a better discussion. I think Wosh didn't really treat him seriously and didn't really... Wosh could have led him on a thinner ice and could have exposed him much more if he would have made an effort. Maybe it was not the right day for Wosh. Maybe Wosh was not in the mood for it. Who knows? But watch the conversation nonetheless, because I think it shows very well who Caleb Maupin is and what's going on, But I don't want to talk about Caleb Maupin anymore. Simply, that's it. This quote, like, stupid minds talk about people, mediocre minds talk about events, and great minds talk about ideas. So since we all are great minds over here, let's talk about philosophy, let's talk about ideas, let's talk about the three kinds of right-wingers, and should we talk with them and how we should talk with them.